It's just 2 days to the FIFA World Cup, the very first in the Middle East, and everyone is looking forward to that. It's the countdown for the FIFA World Cup, the biggest sporting competition in the world. Yes, I'm proud to say that, even probably bigger than the Olympics, it must be said. Well, we had a discussion with Bayo Salau, a veteran sports analyst who had his thoughts concerning the World Cup in terms of previewing the various groups and, more importantly, looking at the various teams that are favorites for the title.
Qatar has been amazing in terms of preparation, and I think the officials should be given kudos. But you know, for every competition, it comes with a whole lot of baggages, a whole lot of counter accusations, a lot of problems being thrown here and there, and you cannot in any way blame the Qatari government for being in such a news at this point in time. There's a lot happening in the Middle East as it were, and of course the intricacies of football would cut across ethnic biases, religion, political biases, and all of that. But I think the preparation so far aesthetically has been very good, and I'm sure those that will be participating at this year's Mundial will have so much to savor in terms of what they will be made to enjoy and made to see in terms of fans and of course global acceptance, as it is the first happening in the Middle East. Names on it. Yes, Netherlands. They're a big nation, forced to reckon with in world football, but I'm looking at them at the present time where they've have been able to actually hit a big mark in terms of achievement under the present manager. But in the Europa and Nations League too was some sort of good run for them for coming to the World Cup. So I think all of that put together means that Senegal have to watch it, because like it or not, the two things that really seems to stand out will be the Netherlands and Senegal, and I think it's doable. Like I did mention, Senegal would want to actually repeat the feat. This is the second time they'll be appearing in the World Cup after 2002, and of course they eat the big pie, like it or not, because after shaving the scalp of a big nation as huge as France, with the likes of Zinedine Zidane coming as defending champions, it says a lot about what you could expect from such West African nation. I think Sadio Mane is in form of his life. After that, being in the middle of a very big transfer debacle from Liverpool to Bayern Munich, is not also decimated in terms of form. He's had some couple of goals, maybe not as outpouring as we would expect lately, but you can be rest assured that there's some sort of unison in the team under the present club manager, who also was a big weight for Senegalese football. He has done so much, and I keep telling people that beyond his Africanism, there is one thing that stands him out: the fact that he was raised abroad. It means a whole lot. A lot of people can easily attach themselves to the fact that he's African and he's local. Yes, he's a local coach, but how local is he? He didn't learn the trade here. He's a grade A license holder of the UEFA badge, and that is a lot when you look at his profiling. I think he's coming in well as somebody who I think can think at the team. They gave him time, and time, they say, sometimes helps heal wounds. The wounds of having missed out on some of the country biggest showpiece, they've excluded them. They've never won it before, the African title, and they did it for the first time. It's quite remarkable, and coming into the World Cup, I think they want to lynch on that, and that will be their strong point, to have a lot to prove to a lot of naysayers and of course global audience, that they got something that they can. I think Senegal, a team that I should really think of my neck for amongst the African teams at this year's Mundial. It's difficult to call. It's the World Cup where a lot of things seem to happen. I mean, you look at what happens in the dressing room, you look at the political inclinations, you look at where you stand at the moment, the acceptance of how much more would they bring up to the table for a lot of persons who don't see them as one of the biggest teams. Biggest teams now profiling, yeah, but in terms of crop of players, are they as big as some other nations that you deem as favorite? The likes of Argentina, the likes of Brazil, the likes of France, who at every point in time, at least in the last 10 years, they've been bringing some sort of newbies to the fold. I think it would be difficult to call, but again, it's the orange, like you rightly said, and they come with so much expectations. We call them the bridesmaid of football, and they're almost getting to clinching the World Cup. Happening for them in '74, they lost now to Germany, and they also had a very close shave, during the 1990s. Tell them what, but they left out. They left out of that competition in semi-final. So there are a lot of things that you can begin to imagine about the Orange, and the Orange, I think that they are just coming. It's quite early. It might take a while for them to now become that star-studded force that we used to know of them. But it's the World Cup, like I keep saying, anything can happen. It's a remarkable feat in 2018, without doubt. And one would have thought that England as a nation would have built on that. And truth be told, they did build on that. There's been some regenerations of stars coming into the fold. Yes, I know that sometimes you want to stick your neck out for those who think that they've actually learned the trade of understanding your tactics. That over time has been the reason why some persons have argued for why some players should be there, why some players shouldn't be there. But it's Gareth Southgate. In the national team, you can't have it all good, because some persons will still tell you a particular player should have made the list. But let's leave all of that. So let's come to the nitty-gritty of what it seems they have at the moment. Yes, they're taking some big players down, the likes of Harry Kane, who I think should be one of those, gone in or competing for the golden shoe. I haven't seen them at the 2018 World Cup, and of course the performance at last year's Euros. You almost want to feel that England is beginning to look like a team who really just have just one more step, in getting the big piece silverware. That's talking about the World Cup. But there are concerns. I know at the moment that Gareth Southgate is already itching his wagon, towards someone like the captain of Manchester United, Maguire, because Maguire seems like the person. But if you look at Maguire over time in the national team, he seems to be a very good person. But lately, based on form, you might want to struggle a bit. That who definitely will now be his sparring partner. Yes, there's also been criticism about the 3-4-3 formation is actually put forward over time. That the consistency between himself, John Stones, isn't so good, and of course the third guy at the rear guard, I'll try to remember his name now, and that it's not been so formidable, and there'll be need for him to change it. But he's actually stuck out his neck, saying that, or insisting that that's the formation he wants to do, hoping that Sterling and of course the informed Phil Foden gives the right support, for Harry Kane to get in the goals for them. I think it's going to be quite difficult, and my concerns of course has not always been about the goal scoring for England, but the pocket of spaces in the middle of the park. We've got players who will be able to actually ruffle feathers with the players who have some sort of creativity, who have depth and artistry. When you face teams like Spain, the teams like Brazil, do you think England can actually, bring something out of the ordinary and make meaning out of their campaign? These are some of the questions we need to ask. How they will shape up, I'm not too sure, but I can be convinced by virtue of what England's status at the moment. They are, of course, downtrodden. They need to actually lift themselves up. Who will be that big X factor? I can't say. But the one person that comes to mind easily, based on goal scoring form, and of course, is very near quality of meeting, someone like Wayne Rooney's record in English Three Lions, goal scoring chart. It's something remarkable. It's something you could take home and say, okay, yes, we've got this man, and that's Harry Kane, and that he could do wonders. So that is the only one big factor, and is the X factor. Of course, there are other big players that you expect that they come up to the party. How they will do, how they will come up with some sort of tactics and grit, because you need that sometimes when the going is getting tough. I don't know how Southgate will be able to put up that, and I think that in that group, there are a lot of factors that England should really see themselves, should consider to making themselves, the favorite in that group. There are other big teams in the group, no doubt, if you look at the FIFA ranking, because that team, by my own standard, should unarguably be the group of that, because all of the 4 teams are within the 20 bracket. That's the first 20 bracket in terms of rankings. And then you'll be amazed and shocked that some team like Iran would come up good. Whereas over time, while he was in charge of Brazil, while he was in charge of Portugal, it's a 4-1-4-1 formation. So they're efficiently good going forward when it comes to getting the goals. But again, started at the rear guard, because they don't let in goals. In the last 5 games, they've only chipped in just 3 goals, as much as they've only scored one goal per last 5 games. And that tells you a lot about they don't score much, so miserly at the rear guard. And that's for me a concern. So England having a chance against them in the opener would mean that they have to score the goals. But they also will have to prove one more to fans or people who are watching them that they are also very constructive. And there's Amun too, who was playing for Bayern Munich, and he's got a whole lot, and that should be the man who I think they should all put the hopes on. He scored about I think 45 goals in 61 appearances for his national team. That's remarkable for a player like that from that particular divide. But if they are free in mind, if they do not have the political inclination or the political brouhaha going on presently in Iran, if they can get focused and they can put them into the right size, the right shape, I think they're a team that could cause for worry. Having said that, let's look at a team like USA too. USA look like a team that, of course, can do well too, but I have concerns because at the rear guard, they don't look like a team who's done well. And over time in the last 5 games, should I say this? It's just so not good going to a competition like this. They've not scored a goal in open play. It's been penalties by their strikers, and that's not good. So where would the goals come from? Yes, they've got some couple of players like Weston McKennie, they've got Johnson, and at the rear guard, I seem to love Zimmerman, Walker Zimmerman. But again, who's going to pair with Zimmerman? Because the only one person I know that could also do that for him is injured at the moment. So they might be looking towards the Fulham rear guard, the Fulham centre half. Now I'm trying to get his name now this time to actually pair him and host of other guys in the middle of the park, the likes of Guerreina to actually come in, the son of former player Claudio Reina, to come, because he is quite diminutive. And I think if he brings such experience as a young lad, like Wesley McKennie, all of them, the Nottingham Forest guy, all of them into play, I think it can do wonders for the US men national team. And the Wales national side, I call them the pickpocket side. They wait at you, they run at you when the time for them to do so. Daniel James does that well in Manchester United. We saw that. Even now at Nottingham Forest, been able to do a couple of that. I think the last few games, we've seen him, creating space, pocket space for himself and running. And I like that for the speed. And Gary Bale has been the anchor man, telling them exactly. You don't get much of Gary Bale like he used to be back in time in his heydays, running at you. But rest assured that he's got the experience to carry such a team. It's the first time we're seeing them after about 58 years at the World Cup. That is remarkable for them. They did well by defeating Ukraine. And of course, the record or the results have also been pouring in goodwill for them. So I think they also have something to actually throw, into the fray when they go and get stuff for them. Truth be told, I don't like to do this on national television, but I think Argentina looks the team like I want to throw my support behind. And you might see a bit of bias in it, maybe because of my love for Messi. But having said all of that, you have to consider the fact that Messi, yes, I'll talk about Messi because he seems to be the fulcrum in that team. You talk about Argentina going forward, the positives, it has to be around Messi. And Messi has told us that he's not just done yet. People would argue over time that this person looks like he is already done after this first mess in Paris Saint-Germain. But he has come to say, well, I was learning the ropes. I was like trying to learn the intricacies, learn the many frameworks of how the club works. I haven't spent my entire life in Barcelona. And like it or not, he's actually changed the narrative. He's been doing well for himself. He scored 10 goals in 13 appearances, for club and country, for his club side, and that tells you something that he's doing well. And again, Scaloni seems to have changed, the face of Argentina football. I want to say with all sort of guts, so that apart from Nigeria, the country that I really like so much because of my love and the fact that I support a football club from that end is Italy, and Italy is not there. We're talking about Italy doing the unthinkable under Roberto Mancini, going 37 games unbeaten. Argentina has also tread that line. They're just 2 games short of equaling that same record. Haven't taken over after the old debacle that happened in 2018 under the former manager Jorge Sampaoli. They've been able to actually grind up fantastic results. As a matter of fact, during this period, they also earned themselves the first win since '93, winning the Copa America, defeating Brazil. So it says a lot about there's a new mojo. Everything seems to be working straight for the Argentine. The Abyss Celeste, no doubt, they'll have it tough against some other oppositions that looks like the known forces who I know that they will always struggle against. But I think with Messi in good form and other key players, the likes of Jogi, the Martinez, Lisandro Martinez rather, the likes of other big players in the team, Argentina. I think you want to say that Argentina has got so much to actually prove. I think they're a whole lot in terms of formation. They're a whole lot in terms of what they are bringing, in terms of having to play together. I think this is the longest they've stayed under the manager going to World Cup, and I think all of that will play a part hugely for Argentina and getting something very remarkable out of this World Cup.